Avengers Assemble. Hello everyone, welcome to another show of Relentless Reviews. I'm your host as always, Joshua Englander, and today finally, after everyone's been asking, finally I'm going to give you my review of the long-awaited Marvel hit movie, The Avengers. So, how was this incredible list of cast, including Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, how did they pan out in the end? How was the villain Loki? Was he as badass as he potentially could be? And overall, was the action spectacular, and was the story convincing enough for not just Marvel fans and comic book fans to enjoy this movie, but casual moviegoers as well? Well, let's check out the trailer.
War has started, and we are hopelessly outgunned.
Director Fury, I think it's time.
You here with a mission, sir? Trying to get me back in the world?
Trying to save it.
What are you asking me to do?
It's called the Avengers Initiative.
Desperate are you? And you call on such lost creatures to defend you?
You have made me very desperate.
We're not a team. We're a time bomb.
So, even though you probably have already seen the movie at this point, here is my review of The Avengers. Now, first of all, the action, as expected, is spectacular. The effects are some of the best I've seen in a superhero film in the last few months. It was definitely better than Captain America, The First Avenger, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor. It just looked spectacular, and Joss Whedon did a brilliant job of executing those action sequences. I think he learned a lot from Cabin in the Woods to make the special effects look as realistic as possible, considering how silly the concept is anyway, but he did such a great job with the action itself. That obviously was awesome. But one of the most surprising aspects of The Avengers is the comedy level. It is spectacular. There are so many scenes in this film that it almost made me feel like this was a parody of The Avengers, and not just The Avengers. But Joss Whedon is one of those people who can really take a movie and make a concept that can be as serious as The Avengers, despite how silly it really is, and make it extremely funny to watch as well as awesome to look at. I think that's so amazing, and I think that Joss Whedon really pulled off that factor of, you know what, we can't take this idea too seriously, because let's face it, for casual moviegoers in particular, they're going to look at this and say then it would be way too silly, and I think Joss Whedon made the brilliant choice of making this film as funny and interesting as it was. Now, I would say dating back to about a year ago when Loki was announced as the villain for the first Avengers film, I know that a lot of people I know of especially were really against that choice. They wanted to see someone like Doctor Doom or something crazy like that. And while I can understand why in a lot of ways, Loki to me was an excellent choice. He made a lot of sense. He's alien, remember, and I think that makes it a lot more logical in such a silly idea that it would take 4 superheroes to bring him down. And he was excellent. Tom Hiddleston is a very good actor. I think he's really proven it over the last few years, and he proved it again this time in The Avengers. He was great in Thor as Loki. He's even better in The Avengers. If you haven't seen the movie, you're really going to be interested in Loki's concept. There was also some really, really good chemistry between Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo. Of course, Mark Ruffalo playing the Hulk and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And that was really interesting. You know, one of the concerns I did have about the film was, you know, switching from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo. Was that going to be an awkward transition? Was it going to work out for Marvel? It ends up working out big time. I think Mark Ruffalo is actually a better Hulk than Edward Norton, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but Edward Norton, as good as he was, I think Mark Ruffalo really fits what Bruce Banner is about, and I think that those two had some of the best chemistry I've seen on screen all year. So the movie ran about at 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it didn't feel anything like that. It pushed its way through very quickly, and in some ways I kind of wish that it felt a little longer, but it goes to show how much I was enjoying this movie, and I think it goes to show, because everyone else is talking about it, how much they enjoyed the movie as well. And most importantly, the four main Avengers themselves, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and Chris Evans as Captain America, are all excellent. One of the most important aspects of the film. They all really fit their characters extremely well. It's kind of hard to imagine that Chris Evans was the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four films. He fits Captain America extremely well, and that was one of the most important things. They all fit their characters extremely well. There was also a lot of interesting side characters. Gwyneth Paltrow is back in the Avengers. You get to see a little bit of her character, and I think that overall the cast was handled extremely well, and I really was surprised just how much star power they had to handle and how it really came out on top in the end. So overall, while I'm sure everyone watching this has practically seen the Avengers at this point, honestly, I think this movie is one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's still not quite as good as The Rocketeer, which is my favorite movie of all time. It's not quite as good as The Dark Knight, but I think it's definitely Marvel's best movie they've ever made. Comment below and tell me what is your favorite superhero film, whether it's Marvel or DC, I don't care. I think the Avengers really sets a standard for what's going to happen in the future. I mean, obviously this is not going to be the only Avengers movie made, and it'll be interesting to see how The Dark Knight Rises is going to live up to the Avengers hype and buzz. So that'll be very interesting to see, but overall, I'm going to give this movie a 9.5. It is spectacular. It is everything that everyone has been saying it is, and I just love this movie so much. If you haven't seen it already, again, I'm sure everyone watching this has, but if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. You are going to love it. I don't care if you're not a Marvel or DC fan. You're going to love this movie. Trust me. So that's another show of Relentless Reviews. I'm your host as always, Joshua Englander, and if you are new to Relentless Reviews, hit that subscribe button for more video game and film reviews, and if you enjoyed the review, remember to like and favorite the review. After all, it is my birthday today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.